I am Toshizo Tom Watanabe. Let me tell you a little about my background first, and then I would like to talk about the reason why I established this scholarship program. I was born and raised in a small beach town called Zushi in Kanagawa, which is located in the southwest of Tokyo. When I was 1 year old, my father died of tuberculosis, and my widowed mother raised my sister and me by herself. My mother never attended college, but she recognized the importance of education. She made sure to provide me with a good private education, as well as making me work in the family owned dairy milk store. Every morning, starting at the age of 12, I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning and deliver milk. I did this for 10 years. I liked my part time job, as I always had enough money in my pocket. My mother was the store manager, and she taught me the value of hard work. And she taught me how to make money and become financially independent in order to one day have a good life. When I reflect back on what my mother taught me, I often think of the Chinese proverb, quote, give a man a fish and he will eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish and he will eat for a lifetime, unquote. It's best that we learn to be resourceful and independent. When I was 15 years old, the Olympic Games were held in Tokyo for the first time in Japan, and I became interested in foreign countries. Since my hometown was surrounded by US military bases, I had the opportunity to see and to get to know some of the American GIs and officers. I became attracted to the American way of life and knew that one day I wanted to study in America. Years later, when I began college, I first attended Keio University, the oldest private university in Japan. During that time, remarkably, my wish to study abroad came true when I received a full scholarship from the Wien International Scholarship Program to attend Brandeis University in Massachusetts. I was supported by two successful businessmen, Mr. Wien, the founder of Wien International Scholarship Program, who owned the Empire State Building and other trophy buildings in New York, and Mr. Matsushita, the founder of Panasonic, who financed my trip to the United States. I had a wonderful time studying in the US for 2 years. I graduated from Brandeis in 1973 with a degree in political science. Shortly after graduating, I traveled the world for over a month and returned to Japan. But I could not find a job. At that time, an American university diploma did not have much value in Japan. That was a lesson I learned in life outside of education. However, because of my US education, I was able to work for an American company in Japan. At the age of 26, I started my own educational consulting business. In the decade and a half that followed, I worked in several lines of businesses. By my late 30s, I had become a successful businessman. I was asked to expand a healthcare product business, not only into the US, but also internationally. I was successful in expanding this business into more than 30 different countries. At the age of 49, I became the owner of this global company. Looking back, I have had many, many failures and just a few successes in life. I strongly believe that you do not succeed unless you experience a lot of failures. Prior to working in the US and while still in Japan at the age of 39, I received an invitation as a former Wien Scholarship recipient to attend the 30th anniversary of the Wien International Scholarship Program. I traveled to Boston for the event and heard Mr. Wien give an emotional speech about his life. He said his greatest satisfaction came not from making money in his businesses, but from his scholarship programs. He spoke from the bottom of his heart with tears in his eyes. His speech made an indelible impression on me. That was the day I decided to establish a similar program in the future. Unfortunately, Mr. Wien passed in that same year, and sadly, my other mentor, who financed my trip to the US, Mr. Matsushita, passed away the following year in 1989. I will be forever indebted to both of them for giving me an incredible opportunity and for igniting in me a strong passion to pay it forward and offer others an opportunity for which I was chosen to receive and for which I am forever grateful. After I retired from my business in my late 50s, the dreams from my educational experience finally came full circle. In 2008, I attended the 50th anniversary of the Wien International Scholarship Program. My roommate at Brandeis University, Gail Horde, was the keynote speaker as Prime Minister of Iceland. I was so proud of him and proposed the idea of an exchange student program between our two countries. We established the scholarship program together at the National University of Iceland. Since its inception, the program is flourishing. I have also created a scholarship program for American students and researchers to study advanced Japanese in Yokohama with the Inter-University Center at Stanford University. Those who are interested in advanced Japanese studies might as well consider attending this program in the future. I also want to remind you that the US-Japan Council was established by Daniel Inoue, who served almost 50 years as a United States Senator. He was the third in the presidential line of succession, making him the highest-ranking Asian American politician in US history. To date, my scholarship foundation with various institutions has awarded over 400 scholarships. The creation of the foundation enabled me to give the gift of education to others. This is what fulfills my soul. This is what makes me feel valuable. You know the founder of Apple, Steve Jobs. He became a billionaire. But he said during his lifetime, quote, "Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter. Doing something wonderful, that's what matters to me," unquote. We never know the path our lives will take. However, we do know that education from life itself and formally makes us rich both in our minds and in our souls. Life itself is a teacher. I hope that all of you, or all of us as students of my teachers in our lives, take the wealth of our education and experience and go out into the world and live a life that matters. My goal for the rest of my life is to support students who would not be able to receive a decent education without financial aid. To me, this is what matters. Thank you very much for listening.